I was skeptical about this one at first, I've seen a lot of amps come and go, and most of them promise pristine clarity or earth-shaking bass only to sound thin or run hot after a few months. But then I got my hands on the Marantz MM7025, and honestly, it quietly changed how I listen at night when the house is asleep and I don't want to disturb anyone. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What really stood out was the power-to-size ratio. At 140 watts per channel, it's not some wall shaker that needs a dedicated room, it's more like a focused beam you can aim exactly where you want. I hooked it up to a pair of stand-mount speakers in my bedroom and ran it at moderate volume, background music for reading, and it never even got warm to the touch. That's thanks to the silent heat dispersion fan tucked inside, no whirring fan noise to ruin the mood. I also love that it gives you both single-ended RCA and balanced XLR inputs. Most amps lock you into one or the other, but here you can switch depending on what gear you're using that day. I've got an old CD player with RCA outs and a modern streamer with XLR, so I just flip the back panel switch instead of swapping cables. It's one of those tiny conveniences that saves time and keeps the listening area tidy. The build is another surprise. At under 14 inches deep, it slides right onto my equipment shelf without crowding the space. The front panel is a single, uncluttered aluminum faceplate with a small blue power LED, no gaudy meters, no unnecessary buttons. It looks like it belongs in a high-end setup, not a DIY pile. Sound-wise, the MM7025 handles complex orchestral pieces without the slightest hint of congestion. I threw on a 24-bit/192 kHz recording of Holst's The Planets and let it rip. The strings stayed silky, the brass never turned brassy, and the percussion had real weight without blurring the mid-range. That's the kind of detail you usually chase with separates that cost twice as much. For home theater duty, I paired it with a subwoofer and a pair of bookshelves. Even at moderate listening levels, the sub's impact was tight and tuneful, no one-note boom, just clean extension down to about 28 Hz. The amp's 140 watts per channel gave the system enough headroom for sudden crescendos without sounding strained, which is exactly what you want when the movie score drops and the neighbors are finally asleep. Setup was straightforward. I ran the balanced XLR cables from my streamer, plugged the speakers into the binding posts, and powered it up. Marantz includes a clear owner's manual, and the whole process took maybe 10 minutes. No special break-in period either, it sounded good right out of the box, though I'll admit the sound opened up a bit after about a week of gentle use. Now, nothing's perfect. The power cord is fixed, so if you ever need to swap it for a better one you're stuck with what's included. Also, the amp does get a little toasty after hours of continuous use at high volume, but the fan stays silent and the heat never spills onto nearby components. Those are minor quirks in an otherwise rock-solid package. If you're looking for an amp that punches above its weight in both power and refinement without dominating your space, the Marantz MM7025 is worth a serious look. It's the kind of component that disappears into the background so the music can shine. Check it out using the link below. For most buyers, the real question is not whether Marantz MM7025 stereo power amplifier, 2-channel, 140 watts per channel, both single-ended RCA and balanced XLR inputs, black sounds impressive on paper, but whether strengths like massive power for your home theater at 140 watts per channel and get detailed sound from even the most complex audio sources actually make daily use feel easier, more dependable, and more worthwhile after the first few days of excitement wear off. It is also smart to think about long-term satisfaction. A product like Marantz MM7025 stereo power amplifier, 2-channel, 140 watts per channel, both single-ended RCA and balanced XLR inputs, black usually feels like the better buy when it stays convenient, comfortable, and reliable in normal everyday use instead of only looking good in the listing.